Hello, YouTube. It is May 1st, 2019, beginning of the month. I'm used to saying the end of the month, but now I'm recording at the beginning of the month. Um, I just got finished watching a video from Dr. Mummy Saraki. She hosts the Dr. Mummy Saraki show in Africa. She's of African descent. I believe that she's Kenyan, 100% Kenyan. So go ahead and shout out to Dr. Mummy Saraki. Now, of course, we disagree on the religious aspect. She's Christian, and I don't believe in that Christianity, but for the most part, she be spreading some good information about uniting bridges and stuff in Africa. So here's her YouTube channel. I wanted to give her a shout out because I became aware of this through her. So the topic of the day is I want to discuss how once again Europe has somehow managed to surpass the United States when it comes to humanitarian efforts such as this. Um, it's not even humanitarian, it's simply doing the right thing and darn on revert. Well, you can't truly reverse racism, but you can darn on end the perpetuation of continuing to benefit off of racism. So, pretty much, the EU is planning on going forward with a bill similar to HR 40, and we're going to get into that in a moment. Y'all see all these columns that I got up here? Let me push it on up for y'all. We about to go into all of this in a moment, but they plan on coming up with their own version of HR 40, where they will study the amount of damage owed to Africans and what is an appropriate payment. Now, he discusses a 5-point plan, and I want y'all to hear him discuss it real quick. Dr. Mummy, don't strike me now. I'm giving you I'm citing my sources. I'm just going to play this little bit of clip from him, and that's about it. Let's see. Okay.
We have had about 6 reparation march from Brixton to...
No, it starts a little bit before that.
On EU countries against... Who we want, because neocolonialism is very much there. Are they going to also apologize and stop being neocolonialists? We'll be right back.
We have had about 6 reparation march from Brixton to Parliament Square, and it has really helped to highlight and galvanize the reparation movement. It has been a movement for a long time, but it's been dormant and not much has been said. It's just been there, but most countries' people would tell you that African people must get reparation. So reparation has been a part of our struggle. So the march started in 2014, instigated primarily by the Rastafari movement and other organizations, and then it was pretty much abandoned, and then it was taken over by the African Emancipation Day Reparation March Committee. So we do it on the 1st of August, because on the 1st of August was the Emancipation Day.
Yeah.
But for us, we know we're not emancipated, so we use that day as our day to demand for reparation.
Yes.
To get the world to galvanize attention on the issue of reparation globally.
Yeah.
So that is the day that we set aside to say that's Reparation Day. And we have a few demands.
Yeah.
One of the main demands that we're demanding an all-party parliamentary commission of inquiry for truth and reparatory justice at the UK parliamentary level and at the EU level, and this commission would be to investigate the damage of enslavement and colonialism on existing Africans today. We look at our condition. Is there any connection to colonialism and to enslavement, and see how we can fix it if there is. So the first thing we call it, before we even talk about money, before we talk about repatriation and anything else, we want to have a commission of inquiry to investigate, to study the problem, and also recommend how we can fix it.
So, ballpark figure, how much money do we want back?
Well, we don't tend to discuss money because we have the economists, the financial experts, all these great people that have done all these mathematical equations. We will be using the experts to do the calculations about what will be a fair compensation, because reparation has 5 main pillars. And we're talking about compensation, rehabilitation, restitution, satisfaction, and guarantee of non-repetition. So it's a big package in reparations. So compensation is only one area. It's only one area, and obviously it will be in the trillions. So let me just throw that out there for anybody who are wondering if we are deducting the issue of money. We're not. Issue of money is essential to reparations, but it's not the only thing in doing the essential part of reparation is the repairing of the damage that was done to our people. We have lost our name.
Okay, y'all can get the rest of that on Dr. Mummy Siraki. It's 15 minutes long to get her whole synopsis on that. I just wanted to give y'all a brief idea of that. Europe is pretty much doing the same thing, because she's currently in Europe interviewing a Afro European. So much similar to what we're going on here. But they also plan on compensating not only the the Afro Europeans, but the actual continent of Africa, which is going to be interesting, because it's like over here in America, they bullshit with trying to give us $6 trillion. Now, I'm thinking that, and that's a settlement for us, because y'all know realistically, we should be owed to the tune of like 40 trillion at the conservative level, but that will bankrupt the United States. So I'm trying to figure out how in the hell does the EU, even though that's several different countries in Europe, I'm trying to figure out how in the hell they plan on darn gone paying back the money to the tune of the Africa, because Africa is like hundreds of trillions of dollars if we really want to get to it. And pretty much it's like you would be paying them back with their own money. So my thing is, when it comes to, and this video, and I'm going to get back to how EU is beating out America in a moment, but I want to just put this on, I just want to throw this out here. It's weird because they would be paying them back with their own money, because Europe pretty much thrives, especially, you know, the country of France. They actually are only a first world country because of the colonization of 14 enslaved African countries, including my home origin, the Democratic Republic of Congo. So with that being said, if they was to truly give back the resources, they will become a third world country. So while you have people like Donald Trump talking about Africa ain't nothing but shithole countries, this, that, and the third, if it's such a shithole, why do we spend upwards of $1 trillion a year in our military money going to Africa? Why do we feel the need to get resources out of Africa? Why does France feel the need to still have the 85% of the 14 colonies resources in Africa, if Africa ain't nothing but shithole? Seems like that shit is a lot more viable, because actually shit actually has renewable resources. You know, double entendre to the resources tapped into the darn earth that you extract out of the motherland, that you darn use in your first world countries to thrive, while then shitting on the people of the lands that you done siphon the resources from. So my thing is this: you realistically cannot pay back reparations, because number one, you're paying them back with their own money. And instead of paying them back with their own money and still controlling them, because you trying to call somebody shit, but shit at the end of the day has renewable resources. What does a parasite darn gonna serve? Parasite is like a virus that darn gonna thrives off of a host. So the best thing that certain individuals can do for Africa is to get your ass out of Africa. Because I guarantee you, if you was to darn gone leave Africa to their own resources and give them their resources back, they wouldn't need you. That's the ultimate darn gone form of reparations, is just give them back their resources. At least darn gonna cut it down if you want to settle. Because we know at the end of the day, you really can't survive without Africa. Nobody wants to admit that shit. That's why we go all on this subject. But at the end of the day, even the United States, if Africa was somehow able to shut us all off, bitch, we would be the third world country. Because all the darn on Tanzanite and shit actually comes out of darn on Africa. So and let me get into another segue before we get to the main topic at hand. I can't stand when black people and I ain't trying to throw no shots at somebody, but it is what the fuck it is. If they somehow come across my little channel, well, I still stand by my word. I was sitting up on a panel, right? Y'all know I like to look at my conscious folks. And this person was sitting up here just shit talking Africans. Now, I'm not necessarily a pan-Africanist, but I don't believe in darn gone spreading no false rhetoric, number one and foremost. Hold on, y'all. My phone's ringing. I had to turn my phone off. But anyways, I don't believe in spreading no false rhetoric. That's first and foremost. Number two, I don't believe in unnecessarily division. So when you have somebody sitting on a panel shit talking Africans and talking about the aid that they receive, let's go into this falsity of darn gone aid. So first I'm going to go to this one right here. So DRC donors announced $528 million in funding to scale up aid and delivery to people in need. Now this is the Congo. So $500 billion in aid. Now, let's go to the word for Congo, the mining industry of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So the mining industry of the Democratic Republic of Congo is a significant factor in the world's production of cobalt, copper, diamond, titanium, tin, and gold. It is the Democratic Republic of the Congo largest source of export. In 2009, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, had an estimate of 24 trillion in untapped, which means it's still in the ground. $24 trillion in mineral deposits, including the world's largest reserves of coltan and significant quantities of the world's cobalt. You know, the stuff that you use for your darn phones, for your Apple and Samsung devices, all our screens and stuff, all of that is Africa. Specifically from the Congo, the battery, the lithium battery, all of that from the resources of Africa, to the tune of 24 trillion from what they could see. Because there's even more down in the ground, further down. And that's just in the Congo, the most abundant resource of them all. 24 trillion that they know of. But you darn gone giving them 500 billion in aid, but you darn gone leave them to their own devices if you darn gonna stop siphoning them off, because what you're doing is you taking 85% of their resources. And then you call yourself acting like you trying to help them, because this is a global thing of white supremacy scamming Africans and making them look like they ain't shit, like they need us for help, and you know, the feed the children commercials and all of that, because you go and darn on, we are in there stealing they darn on oil reserves, and we go in there and taking the darn on cobalts and shit, and darn gonna give them pennies on the dollars for stuff on their own land. And then we call ourselves doing something by giving them $528 million. Oh, we helping Africans. But the best thing you can do for Africans, if you were serious, is get your ass up out of the Congo and darn gonna allow them to sell the darn gone resources to you, and darn gonna get the profit they damn selves. Why are you over there in Africa darn gone siphoning it against the people, and the darn gone Congo is one of the darn gone most poverty-stricken countries? Now tell me this, how in the hell is the most richly abundant darn gone source in Africa has the most poverty-stricken people? They don't make no sense. It's literally like an oxymoron. It's a direct contradiction. You have the richest source of mineral deposits out of any other major country in the world. More than Haiti, more than Ghana, more than Tanzania. And you telling me that they need $500 million in aid? No, that $500 million is a little kickback to act like you doing something. It's a little distraction to make you seem like we darn gonna helping you, to distract from the fact that we're stealing more than what we giving. So when you have people sit on a panel next time and they tell you that, oh, Africa, they really need us, all this, that, and the motherfucking third, and Africa ain't shit, and they darn gonna quote misguided darn gone statistics about what Africa receives in foreign aid and calling that welfare. No, think of it like this. It ain't welfare. It's darn gone giving the darn gone people pennies of what they're darn gone truly worth. because you come into my motherfucking country and darn gone extracting $24 trillion, but then you want the darn gonna slime me 500 million. That's not even a whole trillion, but this is coming from my land, and then I'm darn gone subject to poverty. But we darn gone Congo gets to fund all of America and France and everybody else. That's some bullshit. And I just wanted to point that out there for people who want to darn gone say Africa ain't nothing but darn gone shit. So they deserve reparations, but it can never be in the form of cash, because the cash is directly really paying themselves. How in the hell you gonna assault me by paying me with my own motherfucking money? If you really serious, you will give them back their resources. You don't darn go give them a little bit of what you give them, because the money is backed by something. And what is it backed by in France and in the EU is the darn gone colonized reserves that you darn gonna have of Africa. So if you really want to darn gonna be serious about this EU, what you need to do is give back a substantial portion, because at the end of the day, we know you're not going to give all the reserves back to Africa, because that will put your ass in a third world country status. And I don't see a parasite being altruistic to its detriment, because at the end of the day, Europe needs Africa. Without no support from darn on Africa, all of Europe would go back in the motherfucking dark ages. Because look at all the stuff that they have. The Tanzania, the tin, the gold, all of that, the diamonds, the cobalt. You won't have no wires or none of that shit. Where you going to get it from in Europe? Your ass will go back in the dark ages. And United States, we can't darn gone act like we high and mighty either, because we might darn gone fall down too. So with that being said, be careful when you darn gonna talk on negativity when it comes to the motherland. So if you really want to be serious, give them back their resources. 85% of the resources from the Democratic Republic of the Congo goes to France. I propose that you reduce that amount to 50-50. Reduce the amount to 50-50, and I guarantee you the extra 30% of funds that the Congolese people will receive will darn on substantially put them back to at least a second world status, or what they call it, a thriving country in the making, even though it should be the darn on most darn on successful country in the world, because it has the most abundant sources. But that goes to show you how corrupt and evil. That's your darn on study right there of how atrocity works to the detriment of African people, where the richest darn on resource in the world has the most poverty-stricken people. How in the hell you among the most poverty-stricken on the richest land? If that ain't darn gone white supremacy at its worst, I don't know what the fuck is. That's your darn gone study of how darn gone slavery has truly affected people. That's probably what's in those darn gone sealed documents that Dr. Mumbi Saraki mentioned in this video, that there are hidden documents that the government has not even released. That's probably what it is. How it goes far beyond darn gone stealing people's languages and cultures. It's darn gone giving them the illusion that they need you in the form of foreign aid, but you darn gone paying me foreign aid with my own darn gone reserves that you darn gone profiting off of to get your country in a first world status. And that if you was to really be serious about reparations, you would give me my darn gone reserves back and allow us as the natives of Africa to darn gone use our own shit and sell it to you, and we darn gone profit off of it. You don't get to steal our shit and then darn gone give us pennies of what you darn gone steal. What kind of bullshit is that? So that's my thoughts on this reparations for Europe. Africans, I hope you are looking across this. I know I got a couple of Nigerians that watch me and some Ghanaians. Honey, you need to get with your fellow people across the continent and darn gonna hold these people accountable. For y'all that don't speak English, your family don't speak English, translate this video to them. If y'all need me to do a video in French, I can possibly do that. I know most of the colonized countries speak French, so I'll probably be willing to do a French video, but I don't know how to speak Nigerian, Yoruba, Amharic for the East Africans, Ethiopians. Contrary to popular belief, I look Ethiopian, but I'm not Ethiopian at all. I'm dominantly Congolese, so I can give you some French, but I can't give you no Amharic, baby. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that when it comes to reparations. But at least they are actually more serious. The whole darn EU has unanimously decided to darn at least look into the study. Meanwhile, here comes our motherfucking racist ass country always behind like per usual. So let's get into a darn HR 40 commission to study develop reparation proposals for African Americans. Y'all know how I feel about that term. I believe I'm a black American, but not the distant for my African roots. I just say black American because my culture is here. If I was to trace my lineage to Africa, I claim Congolese. Like I said, I am dominantly Congolese, so I don't generalize all of Africa as being the same. We are distinctively different with the similarities of racially being black, but we all have our different cultures. And in America, I am a black American. I'm not African American, I'm black American with Congolese descent and Malian roots and Bantu roots. So don't come for me on that. But anyways, the last time action has been taken on HR 40, the study, not even the darn number. We haven't even came to a number of shit yet. But just to study it has been refused by nearly every major person in office. And the last time, latest action has been March 8, 2018, over a year ago. 7 more days will make a year and 2 months, 14 months. Yet, at the same time, shout out to my girl, Jeva Dessalina, or, you know, as she pronounced it, Jeva Dessalines. She has a video, and I will include all the links down below. I know I'm moving extremely fast, but y'all can I'll have the links down below. But Jeva Dessalina, or as per Haitian, JV Dessalines, she did a video on how America also is simultaneously erasing, you know, black history by trying to pay Asians reparations for the railroads, but do not include the Africans who worked on said railroads. So I definitely want y'all to check out her video on how they actually have made further progress since the bill has been proposed. She said in January of this year, it was already 40 people on board, and it has the same amount of people looking into paying back Asians for darn unjust wages for the railroads, but you don't want to darn look into darn Africans and darn slavery, and darn disregard those same Africans who actually worked on the railroads alongside the Asians. So it's like now it's a slap in the face again where you want the darn compensate everybody. And this is why I say we always fail as America behind darn Europe. Because you telling me Europe came to a unanimous decision. But we supposed to be the leading country. We supposed to be the quote unquote land of motherfucking diversity, right? But you telling me that as per JV Dessalines' documentation that she pulled up, that you plan on paying the Asians before you plan on paying black folk for railroads that happened in what, the late 18th century, early 1900s, but you don't want to darn talk about all the years of slavery and how the country was built off of cotton, off of sugar cane. You don't want to mention that. Maize, you know, aka corn. You don't want to mention that. You don't want to mention how we came up with the traffic lights and all that y'all tried to steal. Y'all don't want to mention that. Open heart surgery that you eventually used against us. The blood banks that you eventually used against us. You stole that from us and then had the audacity to put us through the Tuskegee experiment. We don't get now the members of the Tuskegee, I will say they got compensated. But overall, the atrocities of what black Americans has went through as a whole, we're the only group that ain't been compensated for shit. And we darn proposing to even look into it. You don't even want to even look into our shit. And I'm talking about black people and Jewish people all. Bernie Sanders, you would think his progressive ass would be the first one on board. He's the one that's darn gonna saying a flat out no. Now, y'all seen my videos. I just did 2 videos on Marion Williamson. She's the whitest person in the damn race. You have the whitest candidate darn gonna proposing reparations before a quote-unquote Jewish person, a quote-unquote black person who's a double Indian, a East Indian, and a West Indian American, Kamala Harris. A light-skinned black man, Cory Booker, who claimed to grew up in the hood somewhere in New Jersey. But you have the whitest candidate that's actually proposing reparations quicker than y'all black asses. Quicker than your Jewish ass. And y'all been in this bitch longer. She ain't in a politician. She darn gone, she's an author who's darn gone making more strides than y'all. And y'all both have been in this bitch for darn gone decades. How long Senator Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, and hell, your ass, you like darn gone told that you march with Martin Luther King, Bernie. So once again, you darn gone march with Martin Luther King side by side. So I thought you would be the first one to be for reparations, because anytime you want to try to get the black vote, you always bring out that darn gone marching with Martin Luther King. But then when we darn gonna quote Martin Luther King and how he even mentioned how black people should be economically reimbursed, all of a sudden, oh, that's divisive. That's divisive. Really? Was it divisive for y'all to get darn gone reparations as Jewish Americans for something that America wasn't even responsible for? Because I'm still trying to figure out how in the hell does the United States pay for darn gone Jewish Holocaust, and that was something that the Germans did. And then President Barack Obama, who's supposed to be a half black, but here goes that darn gone African in him, because you know he don't got no Chesthouse slavery roots. He's half white, half African, not black. He's African from having a full darn gone African father from Kenya. But you have a black wife from America, and you decided to darn gone propose an increase of reparation benefits to darn gone Jewish people, but you darn gone didn't do anything for black American citizens who got you in there twice, who look at you as a darn gone hero image to this day, President Barack Obama. Really? That's why I say we fail. Even our blackest darn gone people in office haven't done shit. I think they say Al Sharpton, you know, Reverend Al Sharpton actually darn gone denied it. Really? And this just brings me back to darn gone the history of darn gone tipping and how Europe ended the darn gone the slave tipping rage. But we in America still darn gone practice in the tips today, and darn gonna have people working for $2.13 an hour. Now let's go to this real quick and see how once again Europe beat us out of getting out of that. The racist history of darn gone tipping. Tipping is the norm in the U.S., but it hasn't always been this way. Tipping was considered un-American and undemocratic. You hear that? Democrats? When rich Americans began to adopt the practice in the mid-1800s, by the end of the Civil War, tipping had spread through the country. According to research by Saru Jerriman and Teofilo Reyes at Restaurant Opportunity Centers United, the reason behind its popularity was inherently racist. And it goes all the way back to slavery. If you eat at a restaurant in the U.S., you are expected to tip. It's the right thing to do. Oh, really? We're going to get into that. But what you knew tipping has a racist past. It's not just because black waiters are tipped less than white co-workers or that tip minimum wage makers make the poor poorer. It's the custom of tipping in America was racist from the very beginning, and it goes all the way back to, okay, is they reiterating it? Or am I reading the same thing over? Tipping started among European aristocrats in the 17th century, so the 1800s. Rich Americans adopted the practice in the mid-1800s, and spread it throughout the country after the Civil War. So you know, right after emancipation and all of that. Restaurant Opportunity Center, newly freed slaves flocked to major cities to find work, but they were only hired in what were considered unskilled positions, mostly in restaurants. Racist restaurant owners embraced tipping as a way to employ free slaves without actually having to pay them any wage. And some customers were down with the new practice because they believed it was natural to tip their inferiors. Hold on to that. Racism and classism runs deep. I mentioned that hand in hand, that it's always been racism and classism. Because it's also seen that to tip a black person is considered an honor, and to tip a white person is considered an insult. So you had simultaneously, you still had classism going on during the time of racism. By the late 1880s, black workers accounted for nearly half of the hospitality industry. In the 1920s, restaurants that were losing money because of prohibition laws encouraged tipping, making it even more popular over time. So prohibition, we're talking about around the 18th Amendment, before, women's suffrage came along. And then the 21st Amendment was to appeal the 18th Amendment on prohibition. So around that time frame, y'all. So you had women's suffrage that was still legal until the 19th Amendment came around, because the prohibition was the 18th Amendment. In 1996, the then head of the National Restaurant Association, Herman Cain, yes, that Herman Cain, convinced the Republican-led Congress to set a two-tier wage system for tipped and non-tip workers. The tip minimum wage is set at $2.13 per hour. Today, in 17 states, the legal minimum wage for tip workers is still only $2.13 an hour. $2.13 an hour. And before y'all mention wage differential, yeah, they find ways to get around wage differential. So those workers where the tips don't equal up to a minimum wage, they're relying on tips. Now, tips should be an addition to your income. It shouldn't be your sole source of relying on income. But yeah, they still want you to darn work for $80, a little bit over $80 a week, if you're lucky to get full time. $320 a month. Even though the average let me see, average house is $800. Now, how much is you getting tipped? Because in a struggling economy, people ain't tipping like that. So maybe you might be lucky to get an extra $200 a week in tips. So maybe $800 on top of that $300, so $1,100 minus the average price of a house, $800. So now you're down to $300. By the time you pay your light bill and medical insurance and your food, you already know you don't got nothing left for no cable bill, no money to put towards a contingency plan, and none of that. No hair care products for us naturalistas, none of that off a tipper's wage. A century later, the inherent racism of tipping persists. Non-white restaurant workers take home 56% less than their white peers. And there's a new vulnerable demographic who's suffering: women. According to Jerry Marin, 66% of the almost 6 million tip workers in America are women. Europe, where this whole thing began, has long moved past tipping to pay restaurant workers a full wage, so maybe it's time for America to change its tipping culture. But once again, Europe has surpassed us in that. They started with that, and now, once again, they're actually coming behind America and proposing a study that they actually unanimously passed. Yet we been discussing HR 40 for how long? Let it make sense. Let it make sense. Like I said, this is some bullshit all the way around. I'd love to know y'all thoughts on this. But like I said, as far as the EU, I commend them on taking it a step up. something that America seems like they don't want to do, that we have to keep darn on keeping the conversation going to show that we mean damn business when it comes to reparations for us black Americans here. So shout out to the Afro Europeans for darn on making more strides than what we over here has been able to darn on do. But as far as paying Africa, the whole continent, because it's not like you're paying one or two countries. You have to rehabilitate the whole damn continent, and the only way that you can successfully do that is to keep your ass up out of Africa. They don't need your help. They don't need your dang on aid, contrary to popular belief. So while you have China over there, once again, catering to their Stockholm syndrome, because China ain't no damn better. What they doing is taking advantage of the shit. And darn on making restaurants over there, and then you kicking black people out of darn on restaurants in Africa. You calling black people niggas in Africa. Now you tell us over here to take our asses back to Africa. I don't see what the point is, because like I said, a parasite cannot survive without a damn host, and y'all prove that. Y'all going over in Africa, darn on buying darn on black people for sex, and you know you got a whole darn on show dedicated to interracial relations with Africa, trying to get an African man. I see Cynthia G always talking about 90-day fiance, and over 90% of the cast end up being either West Indian or African. So it's like we take our asses to Africa, your ass coming right on behind us like darn on tick that you are. So what's the point of going to Africa? Your ass right there burning the fuck up, having to put on SPF 100, and darn gonna have the nerve to talk shit to Africa. And then you want to darn gonna call yourself giving them reparations, but the gag is, in my motherfucking Kiki Palmer voice, you're only paying them with their own money. So the best thing you can do is just darn gonna relinquish the resources and give it to them. You're paying them with their own motherfucking money. Your darn gone whole country is backed by the motherfucking African darn gone currency. I mean the African diamond resources. Once again, let's go to the resources of the Congo alone. 24 trillion in coltan, cobalt. That's what cobalt looks like. That's what coltan looks like. You darn on depending on the Congo. But then you have fellow black people who are darn on brainwashed by American darn on misguided statistics. They will have you believe that Congo is dependent on this darn on $528 million, which is motherfucking pennies in the grand scheme of things. What the fuck is 528 million? Now that's a whole lot of money, but not to the darn on most richly resourced darn on country in the motherfucking world. $24 trillion of surface level darn on minerals. That ain't even going down to the bottom level of the darn on continent. Like really? The best thing darn on Europe can do is darn on negotiate the reduced reserves that they hold on the 14 continents, including the Democratic Republic of the Congo. What they need to do is reduce that 85% of reserves to like 50%. If you need to be a bitch and need to continue to have a majority, okay, have 52%. But you need to give them a lot more than 15%. It's about time that those countries at least have upwards of 48 to 50% of their darn on worth. I would darn gonna advocate to say if you was truly altruistic, you would give them more and you would take the 15%. But like I said, if they was to take the 15%, they asses will fall down into a second world country status. And if they was to take all of it back, oh bitch, your ass will fall into the motherfucking dark ages. So we know they ain't gonna be altruistic enough to get to reverse the darn on percentages, and France take 15% from all of Africa and 85%, because then Africa becomes the most darn gone wealthiest darn gone continent in the, it's already the wealthiest, it's just the most siphon out where the people don't benefit, but the people will be the most wealthiest and most leading people, rightfully so. while all the rest of the continents would go into the motherfucking second world status. And if they was to manage to take all the shit back, it would be the dark ages for us. So once again, I suggest you give them darn at least darn 48 to 50% of their darn reserves. And darn get your ass up out of darn Congo. If you motherfucking feel like you racist where you need to call black people monkeys and kick them out of restaurants, make a motherfucking restaurant in your own motherfucking country. Go back to China and make a restaurant with your own people. Go to motherfucking Europe, keep your white ass in America. Keep your black ass in America, your bigoted ass. Because some black people ain't no damn better. Like I said, sitting on a motherfucking panel talking about what Congo's getting in foreign aid. Fuck a goddamn foreign aid. You're paying my ass pennies back of what I'm darn worth. Have the audacity to be no better than white people, darn with your stereotypes on African people. So once again, shout out to Africans for darn at least getting the conversation started on how to get reparations back. But I would say, as far as the economics go, you need to darn get your reserves. Get your reserves and darn use your profit to darn be able to siphon out your own jury and darn charge, and then that money comes back to the people. And put your people from poverty class to upper middle class to high class. Because there's no reason why Congo shouldn't have some of the richest people in the world. As opposed to the among the poorest receiving darn over $500 million. $500 million in aid. Like really? Really? $500 million, but you darn siphoning off darn 24 trillion. Once again, let's do it one more time for y'all. $500 million, but your ass siphoning off trillions. Let it make sense. If you want to really darn atone, give the Congo, Ghana, darn who else? Senegal, Mali, give them back their darn resources. It's a shame that Mali, the homie empire, was among the richest darn abundant resource in Africa that even surpassed Egypt. But they don't want to tell you about that because that was as late as the 18th century. And look how you destabilize Mali. People don't even know Mali. You darn went and darn chop the nose off of all the damn pharaohs, and now you have them darn looking like white people, and darn you trying to make it seem like Egypt was darn separated from Africa, even though it's located in Africa. How the hell you separate the motherfucking Middle East from darn Africa? It's the motherfucking same. How the hell you gonna say Africa, Egyptians were darn looking like J-Lo, but the damn hieroglyphics were looking like my motherfucking skin tone? Like, with my damn hair. Let that shit make sense. But once again, I don't even know what there needs to study. There's too much proof of the atrocity that has been done to Africans across the world, if you ask me. You need to go back and you need to just go straight into darn payment and darn as far as economic development. The best thing you can do for economic development is get all of them out your motherfucking countries. And that darn sell your own resources to them. Don't allow them to come and feel like they need to help you. Africans ain't need to help for a motherfucking thing. Bitch, we been darn doing good for the longest. Y'all motherfucking asses still trying to figure out how we darn constructed the damn pyramids. Y'all trying to figure out how in the hell we managed to have boats and darn bend and darn converse with the Native Americans long before your ass could even darn flush shit down the toilet. Cause y'all was still darn in the dark ages. If we really want to go there. Africa has a long history of proving that we don't need a help with a motherfucking thing. So once again, the best thing is give me my motherfucking resources back. Let me darn profit off my own resources. and let me build my own restaurants in Africa. You keep your Chinese, but we don't need no motherfucking Chinese food. If you want to be bigoted like that, talking about we can't come in at certain hours, bitch, you take your shit back to motherfucking Chinatown, bitch. What the fuck you mean you in Africa talking about my black ass ain't welcome? Needed to kick his. But once again, that's a whole nother video, whole nother day. That's my whole thoughts on this situation. Like I said, I commend darn on the European Union to a certain extent for getting the conversation started. Now, if you're really serious, give back the darn reserves. Darn encourage France to darn they can still survive in a first world status off of 50% of the reserves of the Congo and the 14 nations. They still have all that, damn near all of Haitians' diamonds. Give the darn Congo the damn resources back if you really want their tone. And then I would say go ahead and focus on Haitian next. But once again, that'd be too much like right. At least start with, yeah, I'm biased. Like I said, I am dominantly Congolese, so I'm biased in the favor of the Congolese people, baby. Shout out to my Congolese sisters and brothers. So with that being said, give them darn 50% of their resources. That's what you do. Get your ass out of Congo. Allow them to be on their own devices. Don't give them no more aid and see how they would thrive. Because once again, $528 million ain't shit compared to $24 trillion. I guarantee you, if they had to choose between having access to their own resources versus this little bit of darn quote unquote, what you say, welfare, Mr. C. Now, I'm not going to air your ass out because I'm not for the YouTube beast and stuff. But like I said, that shit pissed me off when every time I see you mention darn Africans, you always talking about what a motherfucker getting in some welfare aid, but then you don't talk about the resources of what these motherfucking countries really worth. So like I said, I'm not for the YouTube beast, so I'm not even going to reveal who Mr. C is in the darn manosphere and who occasionally pop up on Nyla and Taz's chat and stuff. I'm just going to leave it at that. Y'all know who the person is. And I don't got no personal gripes with them, but I was pissed off by that particular remark. But yeah, shout out to the EU. America, as far as black people, we need to step our game up as far as trying to push beyond HR 40. Because like I said, we need to be talking $6 trillion in reparations, $5 trillion in economic redevelopments as far as building up our own communities, our own police departments, our own doctor's office, and our own exclusive neighborhoods, our own lands, have our own grant programs, and our own money afforded to us to build up these said neighborhoods. That's what we all need. And then the extra $1 trillion will be darn divided amongst the 40 million black Americans here. And then if they want if we need to settle, we can include the, the cartoons of, the 25%, but they would not be getting the same percent. I propose a percentage plan where if you are a quarter black, you will receive 10% of the reparational benefits of allotted out of that $1 trillion. If you are biracial or mixed black, less, in that ballpark, you receive 30%. And then people who are undeniably black, such as myself, who are over 60% African, got 2 black parents, you will receive 60% of the divided dividends of the $100 trillion in reparational benefits. That's what I propose, and I would go into a further video breaking that down in more detail. But that's just how I think we should get that conversation started in America, and darn gone get our darn gone money going, just like our darn gone Afro Europeans and our Africans are going. Like I said, Africa still have a lot of work to do, but us as Black Americans, we need to be getting up on the ball game too. So that is it, y'all. Y'all leave y'all tips, comments, questions, suggestions down below. Like this video if it was helpful to you, and I will see y'all soon with more videos. Like I said, all these darn articles will be down in the video below. Once again, go check out my girl JV Dessalines. Shout out to, Wikipedia. All the articles will be down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you soon.